4 reasons why prophetic words don't come to pass. You've heard a prophetic word, or God has spoken to you, and maybe it's 10, 20 years later, and you're looking back over your prophetic word and you think, that didn't happen, that didn't come to pass. So we're going to look at 4 reasons why prophetic words don't always come to pass. Number 1, it was a wrong word. You misheard it, or the person prophesying over you misheard it. It was a poor prophecy. It wasn't a false prophetic word. It was just not a particularly good quality prophetic word. It was just a poor prophecy. And you missed it, or the prophet missed it. You didn't weigh and you didn't test. Corinthians tells us to weigh and to test prophecy, because we prophesy in part, we know in part. God also confirms by 2 or 3 witnesses, and so you didn't weigh and you didn't test it. When God gives you a prophetic word, or you hear from God, the responsibility on your part is to weigh it, is to test it and say, okay, God, is this what you're saying? Is this from you? I didn't speak to other people about it. I didn't bounce it off anyone else. I didn't seek prophetic confirmation or anything like that. It was the wrong word. You didn't take responsibility for weighing it and testing it and seeking God whether it was a true word or not. Number 2, co-labor. You did not co-labor with that prophetic word. The prophetic always demands a response. So you get a word from God and it was 100% accurate, 100% true. It's a brilliant prophetic word. But you didn't co-labor with that prophetic word. The prophetic always demands a response. And you need to give action to your prophetic words. So for example, I prophesy over someone that they're going to be a worship leader, and they're going to release a worship album, and they're anointed to be a worship leader. And the person I prophesy over to says, that's accurate. I've been dreaming about leading worship. God's been speaking to my heart about making a worship album and about being a worship leader in my church. That's what's been stirring in me for the last couple of years. That's what God's been speaking to me about. And then 20 years have gone past, and they haven't made a worship album, and they haven't been a worship leader. You need to watch over your prophetic word. You need to action your prophetic word. If that person doesn't learn to play the keyboard, for example, they don't learn how to sing, they don't learn and steward that prophetic word, but that prophetic word is not going to come about. It demands action. And so just because God said they're going to be a keyboard player, if you don't do anything about that, you're not going to be a keyboard player. The musical skill isn't going to, sometimes there's an exception to this, but musical skill doesn't supernaturally get deposited within you, and you can phenomenally play the piano. There's some exceptions to that. You need to learn how to play. You need to take responsibility. You need to position yourself and align yourself with what God has said. You need to position. Well, God said this, I need to position myself in line with that prophetic word. Just because God speaks, it doesn't automatically going to happen. We think, well, God's given me a prophetic word, I don't need to do anything, it's going to automatically happen. It's going to just come back. The voice of God, it doesn't return back to him empty. So I don't need to do anything. I'm going to sit here in some like Calvinistic predestination approach, and it's automatically going to happen. No, you need to take responsibility over that prophetic word. You need to align yourself, co-labor with God. And if you don't co-labor with God, that prophetic word's not going to come to pass. Number 3, we need to watch over the prophetic word. You need to keep it in your heart. You need to pray over it. Don't let it go cold. So, for example, with that worship lead examples, you've got the keyboard. So they're now taking keyboard lessons. They're now learning how to play the keyboard. They're learning how music works. They're learning about chords and the musical structures and rhythm and so forth, and tempo and times, and how songs work. They've positioned themselves. And now they just need to watch over that prophetic word. Pray over that prophetic word. Keep that prophetic word in the heart. Don't let it go cold. Watch over it. Steward the prophetic word. So while they're learning and the years that they're taking to study music, They're keeping that prophetic word in their heart. They're not letting it go cold. They're watching over it. They're praying over that prophetic word all the time. Sometimes we just don't watch over our prophetic words. Number 4, you don't war over that prophetic word. Fight and contend over your prophetic word. Satan is a thief. Satan is a liar. He's a thief. He wants to come and rob you of your destiny in God. He wants to come and rob you of that prophetic word. He wants to come. He doesn't want you to stand out in your destiny of God. He doesn't want you to go to a worship leader example. He doesn't want you to be a worship leader. He doesn't want you to lead people in the presence of God and lead people into worship. He's going to want to steal that away from you. So you need to war over your prophetic word. You need to fight over your prophetic word. You need to contend over your prophetic word. You need to occupy the ground. Occupy your heart. Occupy in the heavens. Occupy it in your spirit. Stand and fight and watch over your prophetic word. Wage war over your prophetic word. Take the ground. Occupy the ground. Don't you need to come in and steal it. So they are 4 reasons why prophetic words don't always come to pass. You missed it, didn't co-labor with God, you didn't watch over that prophetic word, you didn't war over that prophetic word. So I hope you found this helpful. If you do, please subscribe, because it actually does help what we can do. Share this for someone who might find it interesting. And I'll talk to you next time. Thank you.